Hey yo folks, welcome to the channel, and today we're looking at LEGO Jurassic Park set number 76956, the T-Rex Breakout. This set released in 2022 with a price of $100 US with 1,212 pieces and 4 exclusive figures and a really cool Diorama X build. This set contains a lot of cool builds and whatnot, so let's get straight into it. Due to this set being filled with all sorts of cool builds and features and whatnot, we're going to be looking at them one by one, and then we're going to put them all together. Starting off with the king of the dinosaurs themselves, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Which, it is a bit odd that we get them brick built rather than as a big molded dinosaur, but I would understand because this is much more posable and articulate than the regular dinosaur we got, which we will do a comparison of the dinosaurs real shortly, which I really do like the nougat scheme, like the orangey nougat, I'm not sure what to call it, as well as the brown. I do believe this is referred to as reddish brown, but I could be wrong, but I do like the color scheme. The dinosaur is really articulate. You got tail articulation. This is much like the larger T-Rex from the Jurassic Park. I think it was called the Breakout set, but yeah, the tail is very articulate. You can swish it from side to side, and the back tail right here you can just like swoop around, while this one can just go up and down. All the rest could just go side to side, and the legs are very articulate, and so is the foot. You could just move it all around like so. Even the toes are really articulate, as you can see. It uses those slope pieces, as well as you got this toe right here. Yeah, this is a really articulate dino. I here do have lost a toe, but no worries, because it can just easily connect like so. And of course, the other legs articulates too. And you've got the really small arms, which just look even more hilarious when they're brick built. I mean, they do look small on the regular ones, but they look even smaller and funnier. You do have some articulation from over here, but not a whole lot. But from here, you got plenty of articulation. The neck does articulate a bit, but it just only goes up and down, where for the normal dinosaur, you would be able to turn it side to side. But the mouth articulates because it can open and close like so. You got those chompers right there, as you can see. Another thing that you can see is that it does have a sticker, and of course it's a 1x1 sticker. I really wish that this was printed and not stickered. Come on, LEGO. You don't need to be that cheap. But aside from that, the dinosaur is pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit weird that it's a brick-built dinosaur rather than a normal dinosaur, but when you put the set together, you'll understand why. Which actually, let's take a look at the dinosaurs. This dinosaur and the regular molded dinosaur to get a good comparison right now. On the left here we have our T-Rex of the day, and on the right here we have the T-Rex from the Visitor Center. Which once I find that set in my storage, I'll be sure to do a proper review. Which, as you can see, this one has a more molded body, which is much more proper. And this one has a brick-built body, but that's obvious. As you can see, this one has a better color scheme and more accurate, which I did say that I did kind of like the color scheme in this one, though it's not accurate. It's a bit too bright, but while this one is more dark and more better. Which, if you were to look at these two alongside the T-Rex from the T-Rex Rampage set, you could tell LEGO hasn't been entirely consistent with the T-Rex's color scheme, but that's a story for another time, which obviously this one looks a lot nicer. It's got some good printing and whatnot, though there's not a whole lot of posability, where with the tail you could just only do this. Where you can't do the same thing with the other one, however you could switch it side to side like so. It's much more posable, more flexible as obvious. It does have the more molded one does have 2 arms that can move up and down. The newer one has arms that can go up and down, as you can obviously, whereas the older one, the brick-built one, can do the same, but it can just do a lot more, like you just go like so. Blam. And as you can see with this one, you are able to pose the feet around, that does come in handy later, which with the other one you can only move the leg. As you can see, you can't do a whole lot, which you can turn the neck side to side, which you can turn the neck side to side, but you could just do it up and down, and of course move the mouth. Whereas you can have the head go up and down, and you can of course open the mouth, like so. There's not a whole lot much more that I could say, but one just looks nicer and is a bit more accurate in terms of color scheme, while the other one isn't as accurate in color scheme and is brick built with that sticker. but is a lot more posable and a lot more flexible. But anyways, that's all for the comparison of the two dinos, and let's take a look at the rest of the set right now. For the next portion of our review, we'll be looking at the car, starting with a more usable one, which this is a pretty nice car build, which we did get something similar in the Triceratops research, which if you want to look at a comparison of the two builds, be sure to check my video on the Triceratops research set, where I go in an in-depth comparison of the two vehicles. But this is a really nice car build. You do unfortunately have some stickers, especially the 1x1 sticker, but either way, I do think it looks really nice. You got some stickers on the side, you got some stickers on the back, which show the Ford Explorer logo and whatnot. You got on this other side, you got a sticker for the hood on the front. You also do got this really nice grill build, even though it does look a bit blocky in the front, which it's still real nice. You got a really nice roof build, which does go well. Looks a lot like the vehicle, which you can take it off like so. And if you look in the back, you got a little flashlight in the back, which is a really cool build. And on the front, you got the little control panel showing the map and whatnot, as well as two pieces to represent the 2 cups of water from the scene, which is a real iconic moment. But you could be able to fit up to like 4 characters if you really wanted to. Which, let's get Alan and Malcolm in there real quick. Let's try and get them in. Let's just show you how it works, like so. Yeah, and there you got it. You could do 2 in the front and 2 in the back, which we'll just do the 2 in the front for now. But yeah, this is a really nice build for a vehicle, and I just think they really did well. I really like the technique they used for the water cups. It's just really great. Which, let's take a look at the next car, which is a lot more demolished. As you can see, it's flattened, which let's actually take a look, because as you can see, this is the car upside down, which you could, if you look at the bottoms, there are a lot different. One's more smoother while the other one's a bit rigid, and you do got a set of studs right here, which we'll look into that later, which they do have the same tires as the other one, except one's missing because the T-Rex chewed it off in the scene, which is a real fun nod. But if you turn around, it does look a bit blocky, but that's just so that way it can stick on the ground, which there's a stud to the model, which we'll look at that real shortly. And as you can see, the stickers too are also pretty smashed, like you can see on the side. There's no stickers in here, but there are stickers on the back, and you can see this back is smashed too, which is a really great detail. And you got some more unsmashed. You even got that annoying 1x1 sticker. But yeah, this is a really amazing build, which just helps sell the set. It just makes it really great. Both of these cars are just real amazing builds that just help make the set really good. I do love the attention to the detail and how well this is executed, and I'm just so glad they just did this so well. And I'm not sure how else they could do it better, but that's all for this segment, and let's move on to the next one right now. And lastly for our builds, we of course have the diorama set, which consists of the fencing as well as the muddy and wet terrain, which I know I say a lot, but this is a really cool diorama build. Well, I don't say diorama build, I often say this is a really cool build, but basically this is a really cool diorama build with a lot of cool details and a lot of cool features. This is one of my first diorama base sets, which I don't have a whole lot of diorama base sets aside from the Indiana Jones Temple, as well as the one Star Wars set, which I have yet to build. Once I do that, I'll be sure to post it on the channel once I get through that. But this is a really cool build, even if there's not a whole lot going on aside from over here, which, as you can see, one side's more calm and without a whole lot of unearthed land and whatnot, while this is more messy, which we'll get to this part later. But this is a really cool build. It does unfortunately have some stickers like on the warnings, as well as this little thing to show the information of the T-Rex. As you can see, let me see if I can get the camera to adjust. There we go. Which, as you can see, it's a pretty simple build. However, two things that aren't stickers are these, which is the little Lego Jurassic Park logo, as you can see here, and the other one is this cool quote that a lot of these diorama sets often come with the logo, and a lot of these diorama sets often are based off a particular scene which have a quote. In this case, here we have Ian Malcolm's quote of, "Boy, do I hate being right all the time." Which is really cool to get these both printed. I do believe, unfortunately, it's stickered in the Indiana Jones set, but we ain't talking about this set today. If you look at the back, there's not a whole lot going on, but I really like what they do to give the illusion that there's a lot of plantation and whatnot. As you can see, there's a little chain right here, which I'm pretty sure is meant to be holding the goat in this scene, which I imagine there's two particular reasons why they didn't bring the goat. One, I'm pretty sure they don't want to put what remains of the goat in the set, even though it's kind of funny that they did what they did with Ray Arnold in the T-Rex Rampage set. And two, I imagine at the time LEGO didn't have the goat mold back, and which as of recent has come back, such as you can see with the one newer village set. But yeah, this is a really cool way to give the illusion of all sorts of plantation and jungle and whatnot back here. And as you can see, I really like what they do with to give the illusion that the fencing is broken with these cool rubbery pieces, which unfortunately you can't connect these to make it fix, and heck, they're like vegans with the way that they don't meat. See? As you can see, they can't even connect. But that's okay. It looks really cool to give the illusion that it's broken and whatnot from the T-Rex come through. And let's flip to take a look at the ground here. As you can see, there's a whole lot of these clear light blue tiles, which is real cool to give them a unique angle and all that. You also got these two pieces here, which I'll show in the next segment what they're for, as well as this, which we'll actually look at that real shortly. Because a lot of the pieces here, such as this, and this, they're meant to be for minifigures or vehicles and whatnot, which, real quick, before we get into the final segment, I'd like to show why this green stud is right here, as well as why the land is just so open right here, which, let me bring the one vehicle from earlier, and just like that, in 3, 2, 1, 1.5, 1 3/4, boom! Like so. You got the vehicle right here, sticking in place just about like a glove. Like the scene, it just looks amazing. This is real amazing. It's actually, let's get all the set together right here, everything and all, right here, right now. And here we have the set all together. You got both the cars, the minifigures, the dinosaur. It's hard to see, but if you look at the right angle, you could have the kids right there to be stuck by the smashed vehicle, and you got the two adults trying to distract the dinosaur. You got a little stand for Alan, and you could basically put Ian wherever you want. You got the dinosaur right here, which shows what the pieces were for. Like, right here was for the one foot, and the studs on top of the car was for the other foot, which is a real creative way to have this dinosaur all posed, which basically shows why LEGO chose to have the T-Rex be brick built rather than molded, which is understandable. And as you can see right here, these two pieces right here are to keep the car in place, even though it doesn't fully keep it in place. Like the car right here, as you can see, it could still just, well, I mean, it's a little in place, but not like fully secure, but you see what I mean, don't you? But yeah, this is a really cool diorama set. It's just really amazing. It's got some really cool figures, really cool vehicles, and a really cool dinosaur, even if it's brick built and with that annoying sticker. But overall, it's really amazing. It's just really good. But you know what else is really good? The minifigures, which we haven't looked at them yet, so why don't we take a look at them right now? To do a little something different, we're going to be starting off with Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm at the same time, which both are some really cool figures. I do love the detailing on their torsos to have a more waterlogged look, like especially with Alan, where his torso is a lot darker than usual, where it's a more regular blue alongside the regular light blue that you'd normally see with his minifigure. And you can't do much with water detail on Ian's torso, since his torso is black and all that. One thing I'd like to mention is I do love how they just have chest hair on his torso. It's just a funny little nod. But you also got water on his torso too, and you also got the same thing going on that back, where you can see they're both real waterlogged. Maybe Alan's is a bit more than Ian, but as you can clearly see, Alan doesn't have a secondary face print, but Malcolm does, which every figure aside from Alan has an alternative face print. But either way, that's fine, because the one thing that Alan has is a alternative hairpiece for if you don't want to have him with the hat. You got this piece, which I believe was introduced in the Indiana Jones 2008 line with Mutt Williams, which is real cool to get it. As you can see, his face is wet too, along with Ian's, which you also got the same in the back in case you didn't see in the first shot. But anyways, their accessories are these really cool flare pieces, which I find is a really creative technique, because you got the red cylinder piece that was introduced for candles in Harry Potter, and then you got what I believe is the minion hairpiece in a trans red color to represent the flame from the flare, which is a really cool technique, which these are some really cool figures. I do love the prints, and I do love the flare pieces, and there's not a whole lot I would add to them to make them, well, there goes the hat. And there's not a whole lot that I think I would add to them accessory-wise or detail-wise that I could think of. They're both some really great figures. They got some really cool details, and I just love how they got the details of them being wet from the rain and all that. Which the next set of figures is also got something similar. However, instead of rain, they got mud. Speaking of which, why don't we take a look at them right now? And finally, for our last of their figures, we got Tim and Lex Murphy, which, as you can see, they're both covered in mud. They got mud in their hair, mud on their legs, and all that, which it's really nice to get the mud printing, and they even got mud in their arms. They're just real muddy from the mud and being trapped under the car, which they both do got some back printing, which of course has mud. Let's take the hair pieces off, where you can see their alternative expressions, more worried and more scared expressions whilst being covered in mud. It's cool to get another figure with a bit of a tooth gap, as you can see with Tim, which I think as far as I can think of, the only other figure with that is the newer Frodo from the new Shire set, but that's just a cool detail. I do love how they just didn't just straight up reuse the kid face that they used in the visitor center for them, so that's nice. It's nice to get some more exclusivity and uniqueness with these figures, which another thing is that Tim also has a alternative headpiece, which is these little night vision glasses, which is pretty cool. We also got this helmet piece in a green color, which I don't think is ever really done, as well as these binoc pieces to attach, which I do believe this was used in only the Ultra Agents line, as well as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie line, which it's nice to get these in yellow and such, which here's some really great figures. I'm glad they included this, and it's just nice that you get the and it's nice that we get the mud detailing and all that to help demonstrate the scene and whatnot. And there's not a whole lot I would add to the set in terms of minifigures and all that, aside from maybe one, but we'll get to that in the next segment. Which, speaking of which, let's take one final look at the set right now. Before I close today's video, I'd like to share a few thoughts and whatnot about the set, which I do think this is a really amazing set. I know I say stuff like that a lot, but this is just really cool and a really great gateway into diorama-based sets. I love the vehicles, I love the T-Rex, even if it has odd coloring, it's brick built and all that. It's got some really cool figures and just a really cool diorama display, whatnot, and there's not a whole lot I really change. The only thing I could really change per se is maybe the inclusion of one extra figure, being Donald Gennaro, the lawyer, which it's funny how LEGO has had multiple opportunities to include said minifigure but has neglected it. The most egregious example being in the T-Rex Rampage, where they have the toilet seat in the set but do not include him at all. And within 2023 they had the Brachiosaurus set, which had the perfect opportunity to feature him, but they didn't. It's not like it's impossible to have another set with him, which I do think there's two ways to have him be in a set, which both are remakes. One being like a diorama-based Brachiosaurus set, almost looking like the tall neck set, with a little quote saying, "Welcome to Jurassic Park" by John Hammond, which it would of course have the same minifigures as the Brachiosaurus set in a brick-built Brachiosaurus and the inclusion of Donald Gennaro. And the other set could be a remake of the T-Rex Rampage set, which would have more displays, maybe even some quotes like so. And for Donald Gennaro's, you could have Malcolm saying, "When you gotta go, you gotta go." But I'm going way off on this tangent, way too much. But the minifigures that we do got are really solid. I do love the Easter eggs, like the water cups and all that. And it's just, even with the stickers and such, the set is just really amazing. And would I recommend it? The set is retired, but I would surely recommend it. If you were able to get your hands on it, I'm so glad. This is a really great set to get. If you were able to get it for a cheap price, secondhand, then I would recommend getting it if possible. But yeah, this is a really great set, and I think that'll be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that, because it helps, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one!